Okay, I think everything's up and going. Welcome to News Stripped Down, where I dig through the news so you guys don't have to. 30 minutes or less. Why? Because anything longer than that's probably just BS, anyways. Oh, man. Okay, yeah, we should be up and rolling here. Okay, so yeah, you guys, today, March 19th, Thursday, March 19th, 2026. It's 2 plus 2 here in southwestern Manitoba. That's 35 degrees, pretty close to 36 degrees Fahrenheit to you guys down in the States. Oh, so yeah, I've been talking about Ukraine and this Hungary dispute over the escalating feud over that Russian attacks over that pipeline and then who's going to fix it. Because this pipeline is feeding Slovakia and Hungary with Russian oil. So now the EU officials have said that they would pay to have the pipeline fix to pave way, but this is as long as Budapest is willing to provide a previous aid package to Ukraine that they had originally pulled out of. So really, the EU, European Union, is kind of doing a tit for tat. Okay, we'll fix the pipeline for you guys in Hungary, but you have to send aid to Ukraine. So that's a pretty tough negotiation right there. I'm gonna tell you, and I'd like to see what's gonna happen with that deal. But really, at the end of the day, who cares whose pipeline it is right now? Somebody just fix it. And then over to Costa Rica. Oh, sorry, not Costa Rica. Over to Cuba. Yeah, the Costa Rican embassy is shut down in Cuba as of yesterday. And this is due to pressure from the US to, hop, skippity, and boogie because we're probably going to be coming in soon. So, yeah, Costa Rica, yeah, they took the warning signs. And yeah, and this is strictly because of US uh, pressure on them. It wasn't because of what's happening in Cuba right now. This is strictly because of U.S. pressure. And then over the United States, yeah, the U.S. national debt, yeah, it just surpassed $39 trillion and is still expected to climb. I think the prospective budget that they had is around $38 trillion for the overall year, is what the total deficit's supposed to reach to. But the Federal Reserve, was it yesterday? Yesterday morning, they decide not to raise interest rates, which is going to be good for consumers, people with loans, businesses, because when interest rates are really high, you see a lot of job cuts. I don't know how those two coincide to each other, but they have a tendency to. And then over to the UK, some UK news. UK is doubling their tariffs on Chinese and foreign steel companies, or sorry, steel tariffs to save its remaining plants from total collapse. The strategy aims to increase the domestic production by 30%, possibly by the end of this year, maybe a little bit more than that. Uh, you know, I don't know, 30% to just save the steel mills in the UK. Mm, might need a little bit more than that. And then over to Canada. Yeah, I talked about this yesterday. Canada wants to start banning regulated algorithm pricing. So, say you're online, say you want to purchase something, after 10 p.m., it'd be a different price than, say, you purchase at, say, regular time, 10 a.m., in the morning. Or, say, you an item is going bad and they automatically can change it with the flip of a switch. Then instead of having to throw out that product, they can drop that product to a cheaper price to get it off the shelves before expiry. But a lot of companies already do this. What this is like really coming down to is this whole digital frontier that we are coming into, where they're going to control what we buy by controlling the amount of money that we're going to have to pay for it. Say I'm just some skinny guy. I go to the store. So what I would pay for a bag or a box of cookies would be like, say, a buck 99. Say somebody who's not as figured as me, goes and buys those cookies, and now it's 5.99 for that same box of cookies. So this is what the issue is, and Canada is trying to get away from this, along with the U.S. is totally for this for some reason. There's already the Democrats here in Manitoba are already going after big businesses and big corporations that are doing this already, because we're seeing it here. People buying items at a specific time online does affect the cost at the end of the day. So depending on what time you purchase products online will affect the cost. It could be more, it could be less. So no, once it's set to where it is set, and this is the issue that they're having, it should be set for everyone. That's it. It shouldn't matter time, place, or person, or ethnicity. And this is what the Canada is trying to get out of right now. Hey, Greg. Yeah, that kind of. Yeah, there's a whole lot more to it there, Greg. Man, there's a lot more to it than that. uh, oh, yeah, and there's some kids from Canada, some students there. They got caught up in some drug smuggling ring where they were hired as couriers. See, this is a big thing going on. People are applying for jobs, and people are desperate for jobs right now, and there's a lot of jobs that are online, and they look beautiful. They almost look too good to be true. Well, they are. There's a job I applied for a mining company. Turned out to be completely fraudulent. Well, there's another company out of Ontario, not just Ontario, British Columbia as well, who are going and looking for students and hiring them as couriers. So they give them money to go to places like Hong Kong and then pay for all their accommodations. And these students, not making a lot of money, getting paid like $2,000 plus on top of you're paying for all of my accommodations while I'm there. Well, on their way back, they're threatened with their lives and forced to carry suitcases worth of cocaine, drugs, what other type of narcotics from Hong Kong and Asia into Canada. Well, now there's 4 Canadian students that are sitting there dealing with this right now, and news reporters have caught up with the people who uh, physically took them from their homes to the airport, which instigated this kind of agreement. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we see some prosecutions. I don't know what's going to happen with those in China. It's not looking good. Like, it doesn't matter if you're bringing drugs, international drug smuggling, and with the amount of drugs that they did have on them, I can't see them ever being released. It doesn't matter if you were innocent anyways in China. The amount of drugs that they were caught with, that could be a life sentence, if not a death sentence. Uh, yeah, so that's pretty messed up. And then since I'm talking about China, China has invested in 53 African countries. So Beijing decided to eliminate tariffs on all imports on these countries as of May 1st. Okay, India just did a similar agreement probably about 2 weeks ago. Pretty much the same deal across the board. And now this is going to open up China's market. Access to more than 1.4 billion more customers. And like I said, India just did pretty much the exact same deal about 2 weeks ago with the 53 African countries. And this is good for Africa. Now they're going to start seeing the value of their country instead of being, so poor. And another thing, some of these African countries are starting to realize that making these other deals with some of these money hungry countries. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Good on Africa right now. Uh, and over to Argentina. Geologists in Argentina just found one of the largest copper, gold, and silver deposits in the past 33 decades. Like, so that's pretty crazy, and that's not just going to be good for Argentina's job numbers. But it's going to help with the infrastructure growth and some definitely with some trade opportunities for sure with those types of products that they're going to be mining through Argentina. Yeah, they're definitely going to get some good trade deals with that product for sure. And then over to India. Speaking of India again, India, yeah, yes, India and some other countries are starting to have some liquid propane shortages now as the war in the Middle East is happening, and a lot of countries are kind of dependent on liquid propane due to the fact that they don't have the infrastructure for natural gas, just not the terrain to be putting in natural gas. So yeah, a lot of countries like you go to India, a lot of all the restaurants, everything runs on propane, and don't forget about heating, propane as well. So yeah, so expect propane costs. I just looked up propane costs. They kind of been sitting pretty constant right now, actually. I don't know if it's because of the reserve that we have like locally where we are, but yeah, propane is kind of just where it is right now. And yeah, expect propane costs. If everything else is going up, that's going to go up significantly now too, especially now that all these other countries are, in dire need of the supply of this. So we'll see what happens. Well, I know what's going to happen. Oh, and then Japan is at the White House today. Was it today? Yeah, he's sitting down with President Trump today. As the oh yeah, so yeah, there's been some talk with Trump and Japan here. Uh, they're just sitting down now. I don't want to talk about what they're talking about because I kind of want to have a little bit more truthful information instead of just some sound bites on what kind of deals they're making. I kind of have a rough idea, but I just want to finalize that to make sure that, I'm as truthful to you guys as possible. And then the UK, yeah, as the UK is pushing Western countries to sign this political statement expressing support for the Strait of Hormuz coalition, while German and French leaders are opposed of this uh, uh, are opposed of even forming any such type of coalition like this, but are willing on signing an agreement with Iran after this war is over. So yeah, I think everyone. I don't know what Britain's doing. It's like here, let's pre-sign a coalition. Let's pre-sign a coalition for what? Like yeah, as far as like everyone's kind of considering it right now, might be almost over soon. Might be. Don't quote me on that. But like France and Germany right now, if they're sitting there willing to wait till the war is over, that must be saying something. That really must be saying something. And then back over to the US, General Dynamics was just awarded a $15.4 billion contract to modify its US Columbia class ballistic missile sub program. So this isn't for new subs, this is just revamping of the fleet they have right now. Oof. Just to revamp that nuclear fleet sub, that's crazy. 15.4? Just to upgrade? Wow, that's insane. Hey guys. So I don't read the chat very much when I'm doing this. Like I said, 30 minutes or less. Guys, anything longer than that's just BS. And then if you guys are here, you like the news the way it is like this with no drama, 30 minutes or less, click the like button, subscribe. I'm here Monday to Friday, 4 to 4:30 p.m. Central Time. Yeah, so back to the news. Philippines and Canada could be exploring a critical mineral agreement as the Philippines is looking to expand partnerships with North America and is strengthening its role in global supply chains. With the support from Canada's technology sector to help the Philippines shift away from just as a raw ore exporter, the potential agreement with Canada will not conflict with the previous agreement that the Philippines had signed with the U.S. already, but this is an open agreement. So anyone can jump in at any time on this partnership with the Philippines and Canada, as long as they're willing to treat everyone fairly at the end of the day. Like, you're not going to get anything for nothing, and you're not getting anything for free. You know, that's what it's going to come down to. And then, yeah, this is interesting. A former captain of the Canadian Snowbirds, they do that aerial acrobatic stuff during air shows, claims his passport was wrongfully canceled after working for a pilot training company that the U.S. says is a significant enabler of the Chinese military. This just happening after a former Air Force pilot and F-35 instructor, Gerald Brown Jr., was accused of providing unauthorized defense services to Chinese pilots. And this was what, last week or a week and a half ago that just happened? Actually, I think it was last week that happened. So yeah, and that he's facing some serious charges, Gerald Brown, a part of the Arms Export Act, and he could be looking at 20 years per charge. But don't really know what's happening yet with that. It's still fresh. Like this just happened last week, so that's pretty interesting. Uh, yeah, and Singapore are having some discussions right now. I don't know how Singapore and Japan are having discussions right now, considering Japan's in, at Washington having discussions with the U.S. So I don't know, do they just send a bunch of people all over the place? But I'm gonna wait on that one because didn't really have too much information on that. And then, oh yeah, so Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the PC party here in Canada, you guys won't believe this. Go check him out. He was on the Joe Rogan Experience. I don't know if the episode is out yet. I haven't even looked. Literally, I just finished writing as I came live, and I just found this out. So yeah, Pierre Poilievre. It'd be interesting to see what they're talking about. I kind of have a background of what they were talking about, but I want to listen to the overall conversation, not just what Pierre was trying to push as his agenda. You know, I want to hear what Rogan has to say about Canada too, because I believe Joe Rogan actually is Canadian. I think he has a Canadian passport, but he said he would never ever come back here ever again. Uh, and then Cuba news, a little bit of that. Russia is sending another tanker ship over there as a relief aid. Whether the U.S. Economic blockade is there or not, Russia's still sending relief aid for fuel and stuff to Cuba. So shout out to Russia for doing that. But you know what? Russia's been getting away with a lot of things right now, and they're pretty quiet. They're pretty quiet. You think about them in the front, yeah, they're pretty quiet. I think the only person you're really hearing from right now is what's his name, Zelensky. You know, prime president of Ukraine. Actually, he wasn't elected president. You guys got to remember that he's not actually president of Ukraine. You got to look into how he was elected. He wasn't elected by the people. He was thrown in there because of the conflict. And then I talked about that the Interpol thing yesterday, where those students from Nova Scotia and Manitoba here being charged with possibly some hate crimes and some terrorist activity at some schools. Possible. These were still in the planning stages. By the looks of it, though, the 15-year-old from Nova Scotia is going to be facing most of the charges. It looks like this is the one who is kind of really instigating everything. And the one, don't have an age for the one who was in Rivers, Manitoba, but as far as I know, a little bit lenienter on that person. Don't know if it's a he or a she. But as far as I know, all the guns and weapons have been confiscated from that house, and we'll go from there. Hopefully, they don't give the guns back like they did at that school in BC there. But they also didn't realize that that son was going to be coming back home too. They got their guns back because that son was out of the house. And then he came back, and I think he was only there for about 2 weeks or something before he decided to go do all that nonsense. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for March 19th, 2026, you guys. 30 minutes or less. Why? Because anything longer than that is probably just BS. Now you guys can just go stare at the wall. And then you have to listen to that stupid BS news, full of all that nonsense that you don't need to brain rot yourself to. You can go waste your time on YouTube and brain rot yourself now. Or go look up some of the things I was talking about if you guys want to go a little bit deeper. That Air Force stuff there is pretty interesting with Trump going after anyone who's had any dealings with China. That's pretty crazy. But let's send everything on things that happened today in history. 1918, March 19th, Woodrow Wilson signed the Standard Time Act, giving the government oversight over the country's time zones. So yeah, the time zones were actually invented by Sanford Fleming in 1884, and that's no, in 1884 is when countries just started to adapt time zones to the world. But it was a Canadian who invented that. And then 1931, Las Vegas, Nevada legalized gambling. Yeah, woohoo, gambling. I'm a roulette sucker. I love roulette. But there's more to it than just a ball and a wheel. It's the suckering people to tables. And March 19th, 1279, Mongolian victory at the naval battle of Yamen ends in the ends the Song dynasty in China. Ended it, finished it. Mongolian victory, yeah, Mongols. Mongols pretty much. You know what? If you go deep enough, I think we're all related to Genghis Khan. I'm pretty sure if you go deep enough, we're all. Next time somebody asks me what's my ethnicity, I'm really Genghis Khan. And then, and then in 1644, 200 members of the Peking imperial family and court committed hara-kiri out of loyalty of the last Ming emperor. That's loyalty. 200 members just sit there and hara-kiri. Like, yeah, if he's gone, we're all gone. And then they're just taking out that whole generation. Like, oh man, they literally just took out their whole family. Yeah, just because of the emperor. And then March 19th, 1932, the Sydney Harbour Bridge was finally opened. March 19th, 2003, the invasion of Iraq, started bombing Iraq. And then birthdays, March 19th, 1848 to 1929, Wyatt Earp, lawmaker known for the shootout at the OK Corral. He passed at 80 years old. Wow, for a lawman back then to live to be 80 years old, especially having a price on your head like Wyatt Earp, like everyone probably wanted a piece of that guy. That guy would have been a wicked trophy. And then March 19th, today would 1947, 79 years old, Glenn Close, female actress. You probably remember her in the 1996 adaptation of 101 Dalmatians. She played Corella DeVille. And then born today, March 19th, 1955. Today he is 71 years old, Bruce Willis. Shout out Bruce Willis. Happy birthday, man. Not that you probably know who you are anymore, but that sucks. What a bad disease to live with. And then it's good to see that your ex-wife looked after you though, man. That's pretty cool. She stood up. She's seen your suffering, man. But that's it for the news today, you guys. News stripped down, 30 minutes or less. Why? Because anything longer than that's BS. Monday to Friday, 4 to 4:30 p.m. Central Time. And yeah, if you guys like this, please hit the like button, subscribe. I'm so close to 1,000. I was so close to 1,000 before until YouTube did their big purge. And yeah, I'm back down to like 800 and something now. So I don't know. I was even closer before. I was at like 968 or something like that. But I'll be back tomorrow for Friday's show, the end of the week. Yeah, been finding half decent topics right now. I think the news is starting to get tired of listening to, all the drama and nonsense. And the Epstein files are starting to peter out, so it's a little bit easier for me to find information for you guys that's, worth talking about, that's going to affect us as, you know, the world or as a country. With all these tariffs and deals happening around the world right now, you guys, look at what's happening around you, and no offense, you guys down in the States, especially you farmers, you guys need to speak up. Yeah, you ranchers, you farmers, you guys, please speak up. Without a voice, you're not going to be heard. Like, and yes, it's nice to be out in the country and stuff, but then you need to have your people who work your ridings to really speak your minds, or start going after the people you voted for in these ridings. Please, you guys need to start speaking up, because the world's making some major deals right now without you guys. Like this deal that like India's in with Africa now, China's in with Africa right now. Okay, boom. That's it for resources out of Africa. You're done. And it's just a shame. But you guys, I'll be back tomorrow for Friday's show. I might do a quick live again after where I'll talk a little bit more about the BS, but I got a few little things I gotta do, and maybe if you guys stick around, I'll see you later. Okay, see you tomorrow.